Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Soly here, three-man weave tonight. Got my guy TC. Hello, TC.
Hey, Soly. Just another thriller of a Jags game.
They just can't be beat, man. They're just unstoppable. They're so good. It's not at all smoke and mirrors. I love it. Joining us as well from the Mountain Time Zone, Mr. Big. Hello, Big Randy.
Hello, guys. Soly, you're talking three-man weave. The key to a good three-man weave, we got to stay wide. We got to communicate. We got to throw the ball. We got to catch the ball, and then we got to finish at the basket.
We got a lot to talk about. What are we going to talk about tonight, TC?
A lot going on in the pro golf world. Of course, we had the CME Tour Championship down in Naples. Big payday there for Jeeno. We've got the RSM, all sorts of cards on the line there. All sorts of hot stove stuff going on in Live.
A lot of Live news going on.
A trade, a kind of relegation, a signing, all of that stuff. Soly, we played some golf down in West Palm. We played some golf up at Sea Island, and we played some golf kind of in the metaverse, if you will. And then there's a new World Top 100 list out from golf.com. So a lot going on. We'll get to it all. And Jack Nicklaus, the Nicklaus companies declared.
The Nicklaus companies declared bankruptcy. I was like, I don't even remember. Is that Jack or is that not what Jack's affiliated with anymore? I was like, who won? I really honestly lost track of who actually won that one or
Jack,
lost that one.
Yeah, and Jack, who knows if it's Nicklaus companies or not, Jack is going to redo the golf courses at Joint Base Andrews Air Force Base up there too. So crazy.
I feel like we've been looking for some stuff to happen this fall, and it kind of just all fell this week of all weeks. But winners from around the world: Sami Valimaki wins the RSM Classic. As mentioned, Jeeno Thitikul wins the CME Group Tour Championship. Josel Ballester wins the PIF Saudi International. Probably messed that up as well. But listen, if we're getting to the holiday season, Titleist is going to make this very, very easy for everyone. If you want to shop for any golfer in your life, they have brought back their holiday 2 dozen pack where you can save $10 on 2 dozen Pro V1, Pro V1X, or Pro V1X left dash golf balls for the golfers on your list, or just for yourself. If you want to stock up, kind of get ready, watch them sit on the shelf there for a couple months as you get ready for next year. Playing a golf ball that fits your flight, spin, and feel needs, and teeing up that same golf ball model every single round is one of the simplest ways to get better at golf. And Titleist Pro V1 family offers 3 distinct performance profiles to fit the widest range of golfer needs. So the Pro V1 is the greatest combination of speed, spin, and feel in the game. It offers a mid-trajectory flight and low long game spin with maximum short game spin and soft feel. The Pro V1X flies in a higher window and spins more on full swings with a firmer feel throughout the bag. The Pro V1X is the choice of this week's RSM Classic champion, who jumped over 100 spots in strokes gained approach after making the switch to a Titleist golf ball earlier this season. Finally, Pro V1X left dash flies high, similar to the Pro V1X, but with dramatically lower spin in the long game than both models and the firmest feel of the 3. Titleist.com to find out which model is right for you and take advantage of the holiday 2 dozen pack deal while supplies last.
So you've been a little bit Pro V1X.
I know. I didn't want to break that news. I didn't want to, throw it out there that I was flirting. I only lasted like 6 holes. We played the Pro-Am up at, this past Monday at the RSM, and I wanted to mess with it. I only lasted about 6 holes. It took one 4-iron that only flew about 182 into a slight wind that I was like, okay, I don't think this is the right fit. I still need something that's piercing, but I don't know. I might mess with it a little bit more, but I still think the Pro V1 is the right golf ball for me. But I'm flirting. I'm thinking about it. At the RSM, which is where we're going to start, Sami Valimaki. TC, we saw him on Monday evening. We got Southern Soul after the Monday Pro-Am. Saw the Big Fin roll in a little bit after us. Had a great meal and goes on to shoot 66, 62, 65 to open up a 2-shot lead going into the final round. Held off Max McGreevy by 1 shot with a final round 66. Made a 2-putt birdie on the 15th after hitting. Is that a mini driver he has, or was that a driver off the deck that he hit? It was a big wood he hit into 15 is all I know, and it landed like a wedge on the green. That 2-putt and then a great clutch up and down he made on 16 and then involved making about a 20-foot par putt. The win moves Sami up to 51st into the first 2 signature events on top of the 2-year exemption. Just a rare, delightful week up at Sea Island. The course was under attack. I think the cut was like -7. but not the RSM Classic we're used to seeing. But happy for Sami, a former got his card to the PGA Tour through the DP World Tour. Been a lot of controversy about that in the last couple of weeks, as there always is this time of year, or tends to be this time of year. And now is a 2-year exemption. He's going to be around for a little while.
Yeah, the big Valimaki. We need to get him on the Ryder Cup team. You know,
There it is.
Novak came out
Never
swinging
too
this
early.
week too. I know you're sweating it, Soly. No, he's had a good year. He's a big dude.
He is.
Like just a girth. He's kind of like if Zach Blair was like 6'2" or 6'3" and they kind of look alike and stuff. It's like big and little version.
See, I think he's finished Barstool Big Cat. I think he looks like Big Cat from Barstool. I see that every time he comes on the screen. Not really in the mannerisms, but becomes the first golfer from Finland to ever win on the PGA Tour. As well, had some of his buddies fly in from Helsinki. I was wondering, as they rushed the PGA Tour post about it afterwards, they rushed the green afterward and are celebrating with him. I'm like, who are Valimaki's dudes that were available on short notice to be in St. Simon's Island to celebrate this win? And sure enough, they flew over from Finland. How about that?
That's a One World alliance too. Finnair.
Say, what's that route, TC?
Yeah, probably Dallas.
Dallas, Atlanta.
Yeah. Maybe DC. But this was just like he had a T2 at the Mexico event, which I didn't watch any of the Mexico event just because that course just doesn't do it for me. Like it shouldn't host a pro tour event.
That was the playoff that was like a complete disaster. Like the tournament that just would not end. It's some of the worst, most exhausted golf you could have seen.
Like
that was the world's look at Sami Valimaki initially.
Yeah, but he had he was T2 at Kron at the Omega European Masters, T8 at the Danish Golf Championship. I know these are big events in your book, Soly. T7 at the Myrtle Beach event, 4th at the Houston Open. Memorial Park slaps. So wide variety of golf courses. And
Mexico was last year that we were referring to where he was T2. That was 2024 that he was T2.
No, he finished T2 again this year.
At the Mexico Open this year?
No, at the Worldwide Technology Championship.
Oh, at the Worldwide. Okay,
yeah,
got you. I was thinking of the Mexico the playoff with Ben Campbell, I think it was, right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Brian Campbell.
Yeah.
Ben Campbell, yeah. Brian Campbell. I don't know, man. It's been a long
Who could say?
Ben Campbell went to live. That's a different guy, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's a British guy who I think went to LSU. But
I think he's Australian.
Ben Campbell golf.
Can I just say
he's Kiwi? He's Kiwi.
Please, Randy, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you mentioned he's the first person from Finland to win on the PGA Tour. I think that's pretty cool. That's always something that, what a feather in Sami's hat. And I was digging a little bit. I'm curious, where's my guy Sami from? And apparently he's from Nokia, Finland,
sure.
Which then naturally led me to think, oh, is that where Nokia, the phone company, is based? It turns out they're based in Espoo, Finland. So for those keeping score at home, Nokia is not based in Nokia. But my guy Sami's from there, and that is cool. Good on him. How was Sea Island? Nice to get up there. How was the mood up there Monday when you guys went up?
I cannot emphasize enough how good the weather has been down here for the last month. It's just been unbelievable. Like no wind, no humidity, it's just been like in the 70s. It feels like Santa Barbara, almost. So it's been wonderful. We talked to Davis and Mark Love, on Monday night. Course was in good shape. It sounds like there may be some renovations upcoming for the course. And I think it seems like that tournament's in pretty good shape. Like RSM's got another few years on their deal. They're super happy. That's like a perfect fall event of just, it's a nice place to stay. Players like it. It's a pretty agnostic golf course as far as doesn't really favor any one style. I love playing Seaside, and Plantation's fun too, but Seaside is just the back nine at Seaside is like one of my happy places.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those places that I'm like, oh, really? You're redoing it? Then you start looking at it, you're like, yeah, you know what? They could do a few things with this. Like, I don't know the extent of the redo, but I mean, when the wind laid down for these guys this week, I think I looked up at one point. Andrew Novak was like 17 under par, not even finished with his Friday round yet. Like I thought we were going to be headed for 30 under par this week, and the wind didn't even blow that much this weekend. It blew a little bit harder today, but
And it's a par 70.
Yeah.
I mean, Plantation's 71, but like Seaside's a par 70. So it's not like they're just tearing up 4 par 5s here either.
I'm not even sure if I didn't mention this right now that it would have even gotten mentioned. Doug Gim shot 60 on Thursday. Like, I know the low scores don't even garner a mention anymore, but it's really pure. And when the wind lies down, like, these guys go out and get it. We played with Jacob Bridgman on Monday, and like we roll up to it was our third hole, the 12th hole, par 3. And I mean, you stand up there, the wind's off the left, maybe even a little bit into. He's got 223 to the flag on this par 3, and he hits probably a 4-iron or 5-iron just underneath the hole, rolls in the birdie. And I just remember standing on that tee, like, God, this hole looks so hard. And he walks off the green. He's like, God, yeah, I love middle pins, man. And it's just like he's thinking birdie from 220. And it's just, I know it's a different world for these guys, but we had a great time with him. He was pretty impressive in his game, and he's a top 30 finisher last year. He's 2-year exempt, but wanted to get a start in to close out the year, and kind of an easy guy to pick up and root for. I didn't get a chance to tell him that he was, the butt of a couple jokes come Tour Championship time this past year of how that might have been
you and Frankie Borelli. I think Frankie Borelli was shitting all over him too. Like, who the hell is Jacob Bridgman?
I wasn't shitting all over him. I was just saying worst case scenario for the tour to shift to the final 30, to winner take all would have been Jacob Bridgman winning and not Scotty Scheffler winning it. But
I was wildly impressed with his game. Just like no weaknesses. He seems wise beyond his years. Seems like he does all the right stuff. It was almost like playing with Russell, like a younger version of Russell Henley, but with another 20 yards in the tank. He's just like, man, you're doing the right stuff. And like, I would buy stock in that guy if I could. And just nice guy. His caddy G-Dub, really, really cool as well. So great day out there.
Yeah, it was a really nice time. The rest of the RSM, obviously there was a fair amount of drama. Is it? Let me start here, TC. Is it overblown, the drama around the cut lines here around tour cards at this point? It has been, it's controversial. It has changed from 125 fully exempt cards given out to now 100. But the gap between 100 and 101 is not nearly as extreme as it's being told to us or being presented to us. You basically, if you're number 100, you are exempt into all events that are not signature events. If you are 101 through 110-ish, you're not subject to reshuffle, and you are getting into a lot, if not all, of the non-signature events from there. I get that there's a fun, that's a storyline and that's something to follow. And there was a lot at play for other guys, but I don't know. I'm feeling like this is being a little bit overblown for that drama between the top 100 and not.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever as neat or as clean as they want to make it out to be. Of like, in the past, it's been 125 versus 126. Our friend Zach's been 126 twice. He talked about that this week, but also in those years that like after Zach finished 126, he still got 19, 20 starts, so it's not like some black and white, dire thing. If you're on the outside looking in, they're just tightening the margins, I think. So instead of, I think if you finish 126 this year versus, 111, like that's probably a bigger difference. Like I think 110 versus 111 or 111 versus 112. It just seems like they're just scooting that neighborhood up a little bit. Right.
But it's not, when they change the structure of the tour to have the signature events, to have events where these guys are not getting into anyways, it kind of shifted where that cutoff was going to be anyways, regardless of what they call fully exempt or not. It just, that change moved the line. So it's more of a formality to move the cutoff from 125 down to 100. And again, you're still going to go down the list of 101, 102 to get into events as it stands. So every week's going to have a cutoff in some way that, it's fun and neat, kind of tidy story to be like, this is for a tour card and this isn't for one. I get that. But yeah, if you didn't finish top 100, I mean, Lee Hodges finished just outside the top 100. He still has, I think, 4 minor medical starts remaining, and he just has to do okay in those, and he's going to get to keep his card, right? And again, it just kind of, this whole thing ladders back to this. Lee Hodges had some comments of like this past week. Adam Schupak interviewed him, and just about feeling like, he said this before he almost jumped into the top 100, but like, I don't feel any pity for anybody that doesn't finish inside the top 100. I feel like in this conversation, it gets lost that like, yeah, you're not in the top 100 because you didn't play good enough. Like there has to be a cutoff at some point, and it's not charity out there. And if you would have beat the other guys at golf with the many opportunities you got, you'd be there. And I guess I feel for the people that were close, that worked really hard, that didn't get there. And there's disappointment in that. But I guess I push back on the fact that the system is not rewarding good golf.
Yeah, I think if you're finishing 140th, you're probably like, all right, I'm going to go to Q school in a couple weeks. I'll go to Q school finals in a couple weeks and try to avoid having to play Corn Ferry Tour, because I think that's where it gets really dicey. Like, I think if you're in the top 120 or 125 still, you're going to get enough starts to parlay those into, some good play into more starts and more security. Because basically the top 100, like even the guys inside the top 100, they still can't like pick their own schedule because they're not getting into the big events that they want to get into, that the top 10 from the fall series are going to get into, and the top 50 from last year. And so I think it's one of those things of like, there's two tours, right? There's the fully exempt tour where those guys literally pick their schedule, and it's the old WGC tour. It's hey, I'm going to play Pebble. I'm going to play, Players. I'm going to play all these courses, and then play where I play well at. And then it's the other guys I have to play well, or I have to play where I can get in, even if you're in the top 100. And then you're kind of picking up the scraps and playing the Detroits and, the Myrtle Beaches and some of the island tour stuff, outside of the top 100. But even then you're going to get enough starts. So I think to your original question, like I think it is a good storyline. It's still, like, that's how guys measure themselves, right? Am I, where did I finish the previous year? Like, was that a successful year? But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as consequential as they make it out to be.
I guess where I'm at is it's messier story to tell, but it's more consequential at other levels other than 100 to 101.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really hard in the final couple hours of a television broadcast of this guy's now 111th and he's not subject to the reshuffle and blah, blah, blah. And Randy, are you in support of 125 down to 100?
Yeah. I mean,
could they go farther in your mind?
They could certainly go farther. Yeah, definitely.
What I was thinking was there needs to be the meme of the Grim Reaper knocking on all the doors. Some of the biggest platforms we've held over the last several years, like, are getting knocked down. One of them being like, all right, less tournaments. That one seems to be coming. We'll get to some of Harris English's comments here soon. Less cards. That one's coming. Hey, Chevron's got to move off of Carlton Woods. That's coming. Hey, LPGA needs to reinvest in their broadcast big time. Hey, that's coming. Like, what's next, guys? Let's keep coming up with these ideas, because they are starting to get ticked off here as the years go on.
I'm very, like, I think next year, listen, we've seen the schedule for LPGA. It's kind of a similar story. We've seen the schedule for LPGA. We've seen the schedule for PGA Tour. They both look pretty similar to this year. I think come this time next year, we're going to be looking at the schedule for each and be like, whoa, like, there's a lot of change here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the hope. Yeah, let's have a LPGA Masters at Augusta, Soly. That's going to be the one I'm going to start banging the drum for.
Or an LPGA event at TPC Sawgrass.
Or Sawgrass, yeah. Those are probably the two most marquee courses that we get to see the men on, really, like, anywhere in the world now, that we don't. We'll as things stand, we'll never see the women play.
We need better ladies setups too. We can get to that with CME this week. Scoring down there, they're just
this is on me for bringing up LPGA, but we will get there. I promise on that. And I'll get back to some of these consequential card stuff. Can we get to Harris English's comments now that are in line with the schedule here? So this was, you guys didn't tell me this. Was Harris supposed to say this? Because it kind of seemed like, I don't know if Harris was supposed to be the spokesman for throwing this out there, but this is not a secret. This is what conversations have been like behind closed doors, and kind of something we've intimated for years now that it has the possibility of coming to fruition. But to a long question that I'm not going to read, Harris answers, yeah, I think that's what they're going to change down the road, maybe in 2027, is have all the tournaments be equal and not have the 8 elevated events and the regular events. They'll have 20, 22 events that are all the same. I think that's a good model to have. That's where you'll see all the top players play every single event, because you can't really afford to take one off. As it goes for the elevated events, like I love, even if they weren't elevated, I'd probably play all of them. I have for a long time. Pebble's the only one I really didn't play for a good amount of time in my career, just because where it fell in the schedule. I love playing on the West Coast. I love getting off to that start, playing a lot of events over there and get your season off good. We'll see where it goes. I think they'll more go where 20 events are all the same, all the points, all the money, everything the same. And hint in a different answer, I think it was, he hinted that the season wouldn't start till after the Super Bowl. As well. What's TC? What's your reaction to that?
Sign me up. I dig it. It doesn't feel like I've heard they may co-sanction Dubai and make that kind of the start of the season for guys who want to play worldwide and fold in a few more of the DP World Tour starts. But no, overall, yeah, sign me up for all of that. I think making it to where there's a cost associated with skipping an event. Beyond the signature events, like, hey, you know what? Like, some of these guys are going to play all 20 of them. If Scotty only wants to play 13 or 14 of them, that's fine. I will be a lot more effusive about it if one of those 20 events was in Australia, or if one of those 20 events was, in like at a proper links course in England, or a Heathland course in England, right? I think there's like making it to where there's a balance of events that's not in the US that goes beyond the Canadian Open and the Scottish Open, basically.
That's where I'm with you, obviously, but I feel like that's where it gets into a little bit more wishful thinking of where this is. I think it's heading in a super corporate direction. Yeah. Keep asking for stuff. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Keep asking for stuff. I don't picture the roll-up era being the return to like golf architecture and golf course like strategy things. I think it's headed towards they're going to improve the product. I believe that, but I don't think that's necessarily like the direction a non-golf guy is going to. It's much more domestic and corporate focused, I would think, but which is kind of hard to imagine considering how domestic and corporatized it already is. But Big, did you have something to add there?
Yeah, I was just going to say the West Coast swing, I feel similar to Harris in those comments. Like, it's my favorite part of the calendar. So I think the only thing I would be interested in is if we're keeping the traditional stops, I have to think Pebble's in there. I have to think Phoenix is in there. I think the question would be the Palm Springs event. What are you going to do with that? And this is it seems like the writing might be on the wall. We might have seen the last of going out to Hawaii.
I think I'd just take that to the bank. I mean,
yeah,
we overheard some of that as well up there on Monday, and it just seems like, that's night on that.
It feels like, and Riv, of course, that's the other crown jewel out west, and then you kind of, I don't know, maybe you move west straight into Bay Hill and Sawgrass, and you can kind of skip, what would that be, Honda, and some of the early March Florida events that
Valspar,
candidly, just don't seem to have a ton of juice. But I'm all for starting after the Super Bowl. I hope the women go this way too. Like, I just think golf needs a bit more of an off season for its own good. Like, it's okay. Let people miss it, right? Like, I want to miss pro golf. I want to, like, hey, when's it starting? I want to feel excited about a new season coming up. And I just, with the calendars that we've had on both tours, we just never get that. And it just kind of feels like this one endless loop that just keeps going. And so I'm all for more of an off season.
Soly, how do you view, like, I know the fall's its own thing, but do those other tournaments just fall off, or do they get absorbed by the Korn Ferry Tour? Or
that's a good question. I don't have the answer to that, but I think what Harris is describing is what I've been long after, which is and call it whatever you want to call it, but there's a championship series. Like, there is the 20 to 22 events, and I have to think that includes the majors. I don't think it's 22 events plus majors. I could be wrong there, but that seems like a lot of events and again, we're talking about condensing the schedule. So we're going second week of February, is it? Third week of February to before Labor Day being done. Like that's a lot of events plus the majors in that time period is one. But I don't think the FedEx Cup or whatever it has to be like the race for status and the race for a championship can be separate races. And it's blended into one thing right now into FedEx Cup points. And I think like that now we're talking about to what you're asking, those other events that don't fall into this championship series can be for a lot of money. I mean, the model is basically proven. If you're going to have companies like RSM put up the money for a tournament and pay out a $7 million purse, like people are going to play it. People pay way smaller purses on the Korn Ferry Tour, right? So how they classify that, is it, I doubt they call it Korn Ferry Tour. Does the part of the Korn Ferry Tour graduate up into that next level PGA Tour tier and part of the PGA Tour events fall down into that tier? I don't know how they would classify it, but the mandate still remains the same for this organization, which is to provide playing opportunities for professional golfers. Like that's not going to, I know there's a for-profit model in there, but under the 501c6 trade organization, like that's still going to be what they are mandated to do. Right. So I think it can clean things up. It might sound really complicated now, but when it because we've just pictured pro golf continuing on the way that it has, because that's what they do. And they just keep lapping one thing on top of each other. And that ends up in this mess that we're in. But new guy comes in, breaks it down, tears it down to the studs and rebuilds it. Might not look exactly like we'd want it to, and there's some of it. I'm bummed they may not be going back out to Hawaii. That is the $1 million question, though. I think TC of like, well, are they just not going to play golf in January? That seems unlikely to me, but also is Century and Sony and American Express going to put up a ton of money to not be in the championship series is also a different question. And Farmers, their contract is up.
They're up anyway
as well. So does that event it's kind of clean though. If you get rid of Hawaii, Amex, I don't remember when their deal runs out, but then Farmers deal is up. Like it's not the hardest breakup to make in that part.
And so then the non premiership tournaments, they still happen, but they just don't count for FedEx Cup points, right? Or they just don't count for the season long race, I guess. I think the other thing is how do you sell this to CBS or NBC? From a they've bundled all of this together. It gives them consistent programming overall. How do you sell less inventory to them, but also not take a massive haircut? Hey, we're going to sell you less inventory. We want more or the same on the aggregate for it, but we're going to give you less of it. It's that scarcity thing. Does that kick in immediately, or do you have to work your way back up to that total number you're getting? And just get more per event after you've proven the model.
Especially because NBC already gets the shaft as it comes to signature events. I mean, they basically get the players in Bay Hill and sometimes the playoffs. Like so like taking their tournaments down a peg is, taking Valspar down a peg, taking all those others is, I'm sure, doesn't go over swimmingly. But also they've been mailing it in for several years, so I don't feel bad.
Randy, to your point on the West Coast, I think there's also the opportunity to go back out to the West Coast in, for playoffs, or go up to the Northeast to great golf courses for the playoffs of, like, hey, let's take the BMW Championship to Chambers Bay, or let's go, let's do some stuff that's like the playoffs are back out at Pebble, or like there's no reason they can't go to Pebble for twice a year.
Or why don't
other than paying
Phoenix?
Pebble,
why don't you break Phoenix in Pebble spot and then move Pebble to the playoff, and let's just only go to Pebble during the best time of year to possibly go to Pebble. Like,
it's funny. I'd almost posit how fun would Phoenix be, and like you could sell it as a playoff event. I'm with you.
Wouldn't want to go there.
So hot. No,
that's true.
The Denver guy talking here. You don't live in a place that gets hot in the summer.
But I think you're right. Like I think we would all love if the playoffs were played on what we consider more world championship.
How about the playoffs at Riv?
Yeah.
There's no way the roll-up era is going to have playoffs at TPC Southwind. And I that's a totally fine golf course, but like, no, we're going to build up towards something. Like, I don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to go somewhere better.
You got to make it just feel more important, right? Yeah. And I think that the venue plays a big part of that. Definitely.
100%. Before we kind of wrap up the rest of the stuff at RSM, I want to give a shout out to our friends at The Stack. If you have somehow not already heard about this, The Stack is an all-in-one encompassing speed training tool, a putting tool, a wedge tool. We have several episodes of our podcast with Dr. Sasha McKenzie explaining the science behind what he has poured into this app. I can speak from firsthand experience that this if you could start this now. If you start, this is November 23rd that we are recording this. If you want to be blowing it past your buddies come springtime when you get back out on the golf course, spend your winter doing a 35 minute workout twice a week. 1 hour a week, 1 hour, 10 minutes total a week. That includes the stretching routine that goes into it. And I promise you, you will be hitting the ball much farther when you get the clubs back out next spring if you live in a cold weather place. This is a great way to move your golf muscles during the winter, get yourself in better golf shape. It's a super easy app to use. It tells you exactly what weights to swing. Another exciting update as well for anyone that's been holding out on doing this, the Android and the web version, it's basically here. You'll be able to use the Stack on Android through the Google Play Store or on any non-iOS device right in Chrome. The speed training is ready. The learning library is ready. Wedge and putting is going to come a little bit later. If you buy all this now, all this will be live by the time your Stack actually shows up on your doorstep. So the wait is officially over. I know a lot of people have asked when the Android app is coming. It's coming. Buy it now. And by the time the Stack shows up at your door, it will be ready. Stacksystem.com/NLU, code no laying up for 10% off. It's time. Do it. Go into the winter. I promise. I'm getting back into it this winter. I've been slacking. My speed is not up in the 170s where it should be. And I'm pledging that I'm going to get my body back to hitting it far again.
Soly, I played
Save
with
that for the gold pod.
I know. That's a good call.
I played with our friend Drew Pond yesterday, and I was blown away at the gains that he's made off the tee. I was like, whoa, really? He was like, yeah, man, I've been stacking. Like, you should
I don't have any other ways of describing how real it is. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'm sorry. Other finishes here, a solo second for Max McGreevy, drained a long birdie putt on the last. It did, unfortunately, knock Ricky Castillo out of the top 100. He had a solo third in a final round 62. And that's like Nico Echevarria. I know how to say that. Lee Hodges.
Yeah.
Nico Echevarria, Lee Hodges, and Siwoo Kim all finished T4. Rico Hoey had a great fall as well. He secured one of the 10 spots that are available, spots 51 through 60, to get you into the first two signature events. That knocked out Jordan Spieth into the 61st spot, so we get to do the Spieth sponsor exemption discourse come February as well. So I greatly look forward to that.
Soly, back to the thing about just like the number of guys that or, like the starts that go around and where's the cutoff, right? Is it 100 or 111 or 126 or whatever? I think there's I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago that said there's 35 or 40% of the starts in any given season go to this just wide pool of 200 or 300 guys that get 1 or 2 starts a year. Sponsor exemptions off of Korn Ferry or local exemptions through the PGA section, or, Champs Tour guy that comes down and plays a tournament that's kind of near and dear to his heart. There's so much more fat that could be cut, or, or ways to serve the membership that aren't, just drastically reduce. You can still reduce the field sizes and have the membership playing pretty much the same amount of starts, if that makes sense. So, also, Randy, I had a question for you. Is Sami Valimaki the best Finnish male golfer of all time?
Oh God, TC. I mean, a better question would be put me on the spot and name another Finnish pro golfer.
Mikko Ilonen.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I would say
Cleeks legend Kaje Samoja.
I would say Sammy's got it, right?
First one to win on tour.
Ilonen won the illustrious West of Ireland Amateur, which I don't have to tell you guys. That's at Ross's Point, County Sligo there. And then he won the 2000 Amateur Championship, and then he won 5 times on the European Tour, including an Irish Open, Volvo World Match Play, Scandinavian Masters, Nordea Masters. Soly, what say you?
I think he's got a ways to go to meet Ilonen's, but also Jarmo Sandelin was Finnish. I think I had forgotten that he was finished until a quick Google search had given me that one. Also, shots fired at your guy, TC Tapio Pulkkinen,
The hat guy
who wore the TC hat for many years out there.
I will. So I'm just Googling it quickly. Mikko Ilonen has the best finish at a major championship. He finished tied for second at the 08 Open Championship. So, you know, that's not nothing. That's the best finish by a Finnish a lot of finishes here as I'm citing this, but the best finish by a male Finnish golfer. How about that?
If I may just show you guys this, just so we're clear on who we're talking about with Tapio Pulkkinen. It's this guy here that rocked the thin brim Greg Norman hat for many years. But
Randy and I had a going bit very early. Maybe even pre NLU of like that Mikko Ilonen sounded like a Formula One driver.
Oh, 100%. Yes. 100%. Yeah.
I bet I'll look this up right now. I bet that there's a tweet from the early days that you guys definitely put out that mentioned him as a Formula One driver.
Yeah, 100% that is out
We
there.
just go back to the well on that one.
Yeah.
That's
the
dumb
bars jokes.
That's the dumb shit that you guys. There it is. August 7th, 2014. Can't help but be impressed by Mikko Ilonen's ability to balance a professional golf career with his duties as a Formula One driver.
That's a good tweet. That's a
good
tweet.
You would wear those big glasses, the hater
Yeah.
blockers. Yeah.
Anything?
We did hear. Sorry, real quick on Sammy. We heard boots on the ground. We heard he's a big gamer. A big Counter-Strike guy, which is not a world I live in, but I'm psyched for my guy. It sounds like he's headed maybe for a new, faster PC this Christmas, so he can get that kill ratio up.
Compute power.
Yeah.
Matt Kuchar, you gotta tip your cap to this one. Matt Kuchar misses out on full status on the PGA Tour for the first time since 2007. And again, if it was still top 125, Kuchar would have kept it. That's 18.
Soly, does he get a get out of jail free card with his top top
career
25 career earnings?
Oh yeah, he's got like four more
made.
exemptions in there. Yeah, he's gonna be more than fine. But again, you just gotta respect how long that guy has not had one injury year that has led him to be outside of the cutoff of being a fully exempt player on the PGA Tour. It's insane.
Yeah.
So
A couple other. I thought Thor Bjornsson was gonna get it done. Is like he was the one I was worried about on the leaderboard. He shot 64, 63 the first two rounds and kind of faded a little bit on the weekend. Finished 5 behind Valimaki. But you know, good finish for him. T7. Zach finished T7 as well. A couple 64s on Friday and Saturday. Iron play has been good. And then Johnny Kiefer, who's number one guy coming off the Corn Ferry Tour for next year. Starting to parlay it into some success on the PGA Tour and getting his feet under him early.
Yep. Andrew Novak finished T7 after that 61-65 start. He shot 70-68 on the weekend and just got blown out to sea. Like it was a complete birdie fest this weekend.
You guys may have seen this quick trivia, just going back to how many tour cards need to be handed out. On the PGA Tour official money list this season through the RSM, guys, how many people have made over $1 million this year? What's your guess?
Wow, that's a great question.
And this doesn't include FedEx Cup bonus stuff. Because I think even outside the top 30, that doesn't flow in. Yeah. I'll say 86.
86, Soly?
Makes me want to go lower, but I'll say 111.
136. I've made over $1 million officially on the PGA Tour.
Jesus.
Yeah. And you know who hasn't? Is Sahith. Amazingly. He's 137.
Don't fire shots at me.
Well, no, I'm just, you would think that'd be a name that you'd.
I'm going to pick a random year. I picked 2013. How many guys do you think had at least $1 million earned in 2013?
40.
It's actually more.
I was going to say like less than half.
It's 82, actually. Okay. I would have thought it was.
My 86 was a horrible guess then.
I mean, what's crazy is in our lifetime, I can remember when making $1 million on the PGA Tour was a big freaking deal. Like that was a great season. It's wild. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, let's say 1995. How many guys made $1 million? It looks like 9. And I get that there's been some inflation here, but there's been more inflation on the PGA Tour that has outraced the CPI. So
Yeah,
we need to do some tariffs, the tiger tax, Randy.
I know we got to bring it back for sure. Maybe that I think Rolap should come in. That should have been one of his planks.
yeah, 30 years ago, Greg Norman
Cases
led
on
the
all you
tour
bitches.
with 1.65 million, and Scotty this year led it with $27.6 million. So, TC, your boy Takumi Kanaya sneaks in, keeps his card.
He didn't sneak in. Okay,
I think he snuck in.
played well.
He
Did
snuck in.
he not tee it up this week? Was he in the field?
I don't know if he was.
Oh,
Did he miss the
he was in the
cut?
field. He missed the cut.
That's the way that Takumi Kanaya.
He may have snuck.
He didn't sneak in.
Some sneaking.
A lot of people saw the clip going around of Justin Lauer as well. It was quite emotional in his post-round interview after missing the cut on Friday, ensuring that he would finish outside the top 100. But always appreciate. Justin's been on the PGA Tour for 4 years. Has just seen his career just continue to take little baby steps going forward from really low levels when we first started working with him all the way up through there. So I am gutted for him. Was missing out on a full card, but that guy's definitely not going to quit. And has made a lot out of his career here in the last 4 years, and somebody we're going to continue to be rooting for going forward.
Heck yeah. Solid. Just for the record, Takumi Kanaya in the fall series finished T4 at the Bay Current. He had final round 62. And then I finished T3 at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship.
Wow.
And he made
the door down
5 cuts in a row there before the miscut at the RSM. So
he is your boy officially.
He is my
okay.
boy. Yeah.
Okay.
He's tidy.
So him and Ludwig, same level, right? Of you hyping their talents.
Takumi, Tommy, Ludwig, those 3. That's the big 3.
That's the big 3. Other PGA Tour news, the Genesis Scottish Open set to stay at Renaissance through 2030. Amidst a bunch of really good news going on in the golf world, that was a tough one, but not a surprise.
The shocking thing with that too, I think Martin Dempster had some stuff on this over in the UK, was just I think doesn't sound like they have an out if the Open were to go back to Muirfield in that term, and which would make. I would think it would make it almost impossible to host an Open at Muirfield the following week, given the logistical needs for parking and there's only one road in, one road out, kind of, there in that part of East Lothian. So yeah, I'm bummed if that's what's going to keep us from getting Muirfield back in our lives at some point here soon. So
yeah, my dumbass would say like, wouldn't that be easier just to have the 2 tournaments back to back down the street from each other? But I don't know enough about logistics and operations to answer that. But
I think the staging would overlap too much in the way they do parking and all of that. But
okay,
I don't know. Could be wrong.
I would take anyone's word on that other than my own. Randy, take us to Tiburon, to the LPGA Tour finale.
Yeah. Best player won. Jeeno Thitikul. She
moving on. Next topic.
Put on a clinic. Yeah. I mean, goes back to back. She won it last year. She becomes, I think, the second player after Jin Young Ko to win this tournament 2 times in a row. She puts a cap on, by winning this week, she clinches the player of the year on the LPGA Tour. That's a points-based race. The only other person that had a shot was Miyu Yamashita. She had to win player of the year. She finished tied for 36th, I believe. So
Yamashita was rookie of the year, right?
She did win. Yeah. Yamashita won rookie of the year. And then the other big accomplishment, Jeeno sealed this week. She wins the VAR trophy, which is given out to the low scoring average on the LPGA Tour. And
platinum VAR trophy race, right?
Not only does she win it, she sets an all-time LPGA scoring mark. She just clips Annika, so hell of an accomplishment there. It was Jeeno's 3rd win this season on the LPGA Tour, the 7th of her career. She came into today. I mean, it really wasn't close. That's why I'm like, I'm not really going into like today's action much. She came in with a 6-shot lead, and it did get down to 2 at one point. Thailand's Pajari Ananarukarn came out hot. Thitikul bogeyed the second. I think the lead was down to like 2 shots at one point on the front 9, but Jeeno was just rock solid after that. Birdied 10, birdied 13, capped it with a birdie on 18. She shot 68 today, wins by 4 shots over Anna Narukarn. Third place, Nelly Korda, solo third for her. I want to ask you guys a couple questions. I'll save Nelly, but I guess first with Jeeno, I think so. She's 22 years old. She has 55 LPGA top 10s in she's been out on tour really for 4 years. 2022 was her first year. She's number 1 in the world by a lot. The one big missing piece on her resume right now is a major championship, and she came really close this year. Grace Kim, miraculous chip in and performance down the stretch to win the Evian. But I just think it's if you just look at like wins, 3 wins across a whole season on LPGA, like that doesn't stand out. But when you factor in, she sets a scoring mark average. I think she had 15 top 10s this year in 20 starts. Speaking of Jeeno, she just has an unbelievably high floor. And I was like beating this drum before this year, thinking like we're just going to have this monster breakout year from her. And it didn't really happen this year because she didn't win a major. But like, I'm just going to roll that call over. Like, I just think she's just too good not to win so damn much out on the LPGA Tour. So I expect big things in 2026. I don't know if you guys feel similarly. Soly, you give me shit rightfully because it's like, yeah, she hasn't won a major. You should be knocking her for that. And it's
just
like,
because that's your thing.
I know.
And it's your thing that you shit on Tommy for all the time.
Well, I know, but no, to be fair though, Tommy didn't win at all until he has one, and now he's a great man.
He won
and he could be a
worldwide.
killer. I know. I've
won
walked
the
all that back.
Kazakhstan
easy.
Open, Randy.
No, I think the one thing with Jeeno though is the quality of the wins. Like almost all of these wins have been minus 20, minus 22, minus 25.
She wins when she makes a ton of birdies and wins.
Dude,
Yeah,
how many under do you think she is for her last 5 tournaments? Just quick guess, as fast as you can think.
By 20, 100. Yeah.
105 under par. She last 5 events, she finished second at the FM, second at the Kroger Queen City. She won the LPGA Shanghai, struggled at the Maybank and finished T4 at 17 under, and then won this at 26 under par.
So,
which
Tron,
is both a
here's
credit for
question.
her and
Yeah.
like that's truly a credit to her floor, like you said, and her ability to just go freaking low, like John Houston back in the day on like the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
But also, I think the underlying thing there too is the LPGA is not setting these courses. Like they're going to some venues that are either aren't asking the right questions, and then they're not. I think they're setting the floor up too low at some of these venues as well, to where they need to ask more difficult questions of the ladies and like just kind of raise the floor of like, and I know that the gap in distance is wider out there and there's from the shortest player to the longest player, but like there needs to be a minimum threshold of like, hey, like you're not cracking this. And you know what, like you're kind of getting moved off the tour here.
It's a privilege and a compliment to put her up on this level, to say like, I mean, obviously the golf has been incredible and very consistent, and there like her season and year speaks to like how like it's the best golf like by far. Did it include like the Nelly 7-win run? No, but that doesn't mean the golf was any less of a quality. We tend to, in a way, overrate wins a little bit, but like she was incredibly consistent. Like literally if you have to nitpick it, you just have to go to what are the 2 most real golf tournaments they play, the most real golf, AIG Women's Open and the US Women's Open. Yeah. She finished T30 at the AIG Women's Open, 1 over par, and missed the cut at the US Women's Open. So does that wash out an incredible year of golf? No, but Like that's the last frontier she needs to clear is like, hey, when the golf gets real, can you be real and not just win on these birdie fest setups, which the birdie fest setups might be harder to win for the top players because you got to, it's harder to separate yourself in theory, but she's clearly making too many mistakes when the golf does get a little bit more real, but that's not to say like, I feel like she took a giant step forward this year. Even with those 2 results, I feel like she's on a completely different level than when she started the year. And I think major championships are coming. I've been a little hard on her just for the poor major record, but that I don't see something there that I'm like, oh, she can't compete on these golf courses when it gets hard. Like, no, that's just the next challenge she needs to, conquer. And I have no doubt that I would be very surprised if she did not win a major next year.
I'm with you. And I think that's where, TC and I have talked about like, yeah, they just there need to be some more challenging setups throughout the calendar on the LPGA Tour. I think that would help people like Jeeno, people like Nelly. I think it would help really establish the cream of the crop. And I think we would get a little bit more separation between, who really are the 15, 20 best players versus who's kind of not in that group, right? And so
I will say for this golf course not being anything special, they do keep getting lucky with this one in terms of it's top 60 make this championship and it's winner take all for the championship. And has there been a fluke winner? Has there been a random winner since they started doing this?
Not really. Amy Yang, you could say, was maybe, but the year she won it, she had a good year.
What year did they start doing the big ass purse?
The big purse was like really it jumped. Yeah. It
2
jumped
million
from
in 22.
In 21, it went from like 3 in 2020 up to 5 in 21, up to 7 in 22, and then 7, 11, 11.
It's total purse you're referring
to.
Total
purse, sorry. Yeah. First place, they were getting $1 million. 2019, it kind of jumped for first place. It was $1.5 million.
It was Se-Young Kim, Jin Young Ko won it twice in a row. Like basically once it went up to 5 million, it's been Se-Young Kim and then Jin Young Ko went back to back, and then Lydia, and then Amy Yang, and then Jeeno back to back. Like,
which is an incredible run for no starting strokes. Just go, yeah.
Which I think, Soly, to your point, 60 is too many for the Tour Championship. Like, I just think it's allowing players in of a caliber that they just didn't have good enough years to play for a $4 million first place prize. Yeah. And a Tour Championship title, like straight up. I would like to see it knocked down. If you want to go top 40, fine. Like ideally it'd be around that 30, 32 number in my opinion. But I think it's too many women starting the Tour Championship.
It's also, it's interesting how they do the purse, because it's last place. So 60th place gets 55 grand. Like that's the floor. You're getting 55 grand if you show up and finish all 4 rounds of this tournament. Let's say you finish top half of the field. So T26 was top half. Furway, Lindblad, $71,107. So you beat half the field and you only made $16,000 more than last place.
Yeah.
That's kind of I don't know. To me, that feels a little incongruous there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a built-in big bonus at the bottom. You know what I mean? I don't disagree, but yeah.
But then it goes from, like 6th place, you get 195, 5th, you get 260, 4th, you get 350, 3rd, you get 550, 2nd, you get $1 million, and 1st, you get $4 million. It just feels, I get that they're going after a big headline or it's almost the opposite of like what we've argued with the PGA Tour for so long. Of like, it just feels like, it feels a little bit like the winner take all thing here it's washing out, a little bit of like something to play. Like, I don't know. It's just a big reward, a big top heavy reward for, to your point, Randy, like I think the 10 highest finishers should probably be more highly compensated in this event if it is your season ending Tour Championship.
What a great transition we have here, TC. If you'll allow me, I want to give a shout out to our friends at SoFi, the ultimate finance app, for sponsoring today's SoFi Get Your Money Right moment. You go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. Randy is taking it this week. Who got their money right?
Well, we got to go with our runner-up, and that's Padri Ananarukarn. Her solo second earns her $1 million. And so, guys, let me break this down. First of all, let's how did Anna Narukarn find her way into this field? She qualified in the 60th position. So she was the last woman to qualify into this field. And if you go back a week ago at the Annika, at the Gamebridge Annika Pelican, that's got like 9 names. If you look at that 4th round and you zoom in specifically on holes 15 through 18, Jenny Shin was in the top 60. Okay. Jenny Shin would end up missing the Tour Championship by a little less than 8 CME points. And where did she lose those? Jenny bogeyed 2 of her final 4 holes down the stretch in the 4th round last week. And this is, she wasn't in contention. I think she ended up finishing, I want to say tied for 52nd. You can fact check me on that. But just goes to show, Anna Narukarn played that same 4-hole stretch, 1 under par. And so she slips past Jenny Shin. She earns the last spot at the CME Tour Championship. She's 26 years old. In her career before this week, and she's won twice on the LPGA Tour. In her career before this week, she had earned $3.7 million. Okay. This year, she is coming into this event earning $541,000. And this is where I get to, like, 60 is too many women. Okay. The very first event of the year, Anna Narukarn, the Tournament of Champions, she finishes tied for 10th. That's her only top 10 of the season this year. Okay. She played 25 events before this weekend. She made 19 cuts. So, kudos. She's playing pretty good golf. But that top 10 occurred back in January in a small event. And so, I mean, she took advantage of it. But since the majors began in April, Anna Narukarn missed 5 cuts and had 3 top 25 finishes. So she
feels
just
a little cheap.
Yeah, it feels a little cheap, but kudos to her. She gets in here this week. She has a hell of a 4 days, and she walks away with $1 million, which is more than she has made in any single season of her LPGA career. Today's paycheck. So, Soly, that's our SoFi Get Your Money Right. That 4-hole stretch last Sunday at the Annika. Anna Narukarn gets in. Jenny Shin misses out. And then Anna Narukarn turns it into $1 million payday this week.
That's well done, Big. That's some great digging. You can go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. Let us know in the comments as well if you want to any future ideas, any digging you want the big guy or one of us to do on a Get Your Money Right segment. Anything else you want to wrap from the Tour Championship?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys about Nelly. She didn't win this year, and that's, I think, a big problem for women's golf, and it's a problem for Nelly. But she had a season where she played 19 events. 20 events. She made every cut she played in. She's going to have, including this weekend, 10 top 10s, 8 top 5s. Soly, you said it. We tend to overrate wins. But I do think with somebody of Nelly's stature, I think it's fair. Like, I don't have any qualms. Yeah, I don't have any qualms saying this was a disappointing season. And I'm just curious how you guys think she bounces back. And, like, I feel like 2026 all of a sudden becomes a pretty big year for her.
Yeah. Not a good year, like, overall, just majors. Like, it just felt like, and I need to look up the stats, but just looking at her results, and even this week, she didn't play well in the first round, kind of put herself behind the 8 ball, like shot, in the 70s, and then had to really chase. And it seemed like that was kind of a theme all year for her of, I'm sure they've got, like, the LPGA, like that's one of the frustrations we've talked about a lot is, like, all right, with Jeeno, like, what does Jeeno need to do to take the leap in majors, or what's holding her back statistically? It's tougher to decipher that, right? Because we've got limited stats here, but I think round by round stats. I'm sure we can look up Nelly's first round scoring average this year, and it just I just don't think it was don't think it
I'm
was very
trying to
good.
find that TC. They have
It's
that.
it was
So Nelly's round one.
69.56, so she was fifth in that, which
Yeah.
like that's not like
Her
that's
worst round statistically is the fourth round, where she's 51st on the season.
so she was first and second round scoring average, and then third round she drops down to 16th. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
then
I don't know.
53rd.
It's interesting, and like some of that's probably skewed by the like the Shadow Creek event, right? Like I think everybody shot like 78 in the first round. Like it was super hard. So there's some outliers there. But yeah, it just feels like again, it's a reflection of Nelly, but it's also probably a reflection of some of the setups and the courses that they're playing and what's being asked, and some of her strengths or her advantages over the field kind of being washed out a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. You look at, I mean, so the KPMG Performance Insights give you strokes gained data. It is on the component basis, like from tee to green, off the tee, approach, all that stuff. It is like hand calculated by caddies and estimating distances and stuff. So I'm hesitant to put a ton of weight in. Like PGA Tour uses shot link. It is like down to the inch. Here's what happened, but it would tell the story that she's losing half a stroke per round to Jeeno Thitikul on the green, and that's the difference, right? It is she's still an above average putter. The stats would say well above average putter, but that's they're almost the exact same player, tee to green. They do it in different ways. Nelly is more off the tee. Jeeno's done it more with the iron play. But the difference would be the putting. But again, she's third on this list, and she's gaining over 2 shots per round. Like the equivalent over on the men's side is probably I'm pulling this out of my ass, but probably like Tommy's year. It's Rory. She's basically Rory. She's third in strokes gained over there. So it's hard to be too hard on her. But she's 27 now too, which is not young in the women's game. And it's fair to ask the question, like, has she underachieved to this point with her talent level and missed a window where she could have cleaned up a lot more majors and tournaments? It's hard not, but it's hard to point to a 2-time major winner and say you're a disappointment in some way. So
right.
It might just be that we all, I mean, I don't want to say we got carried away. She was that good last year, and it did look like the leap. And it was, it was some of the best golf any of us have ever seen on any tour. And why that didn't, carry over into this year, I don't have an answer. But it's just that golf runs like that usually don't last for a very long time. Is what makes what Scotty's done that special.
She played really well last year, and that was on the heels of not winning in 2023.
Yeah,
only winning once in 2022. And she had a big year in 2021. So, it just it kind of comes and goes. Yeah, maybe she goes off next year.
She could be an every other year player. I think Soly, I have a hard time after last year saying Nelly has underachieved, but I would just point out, like, her performance in the US Women's Open and the Women's British Open, she's had runner-ups in each of those. But that's not, the 2 majors that Nelly has won have both been, under par. She won the Chevron at 13 under, the Women's PGA at 19 under, So again, we haven't seen her kind of win that grindy major either. Which, when you only get maybe 2 shots at it per year, I can't hold it that much against her. But I think for most of these top talents on the women's side, TC, just going back to your point earlier, like, I would like to see, I think it's more interesting golf seeing challenging layouts. And I hope
consequential shots
with the new leadership. Yeah. I hope they lean more into that.
I'll say the big theme, just looking at the LPGA this year, and it was pretty evident early on and carried through, all the way to the end, was the Japanese ladies. Like 4 of the top 10, 5 of the top 13, and then you've got the EY twins coming up, and it's like there's just there's a lot of talent coming over from Japan, and they're starting to like give the Koreans a run for their money.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the Koreans, because I think we're seeing kind of a changing of the guard where Jin Young Ko is certainly not the best Korean anymore, and yet they still have, Somi Lee finishes 10th in the final season-long standings. That's kind of a new name. You see Lim Kim have a really nice year. She won a major a few years ago. Hee Jin Choi, Hyuju Kim, like she's always around. But you still have a ton of Koreans. You're right. The Japanese and the Koreans are kind of taking it to everybody else right now as a cohort.
Yeah, in the top 15 in strokes gained, you have Minji Lee from Australia, Nelly Korda from the U.S., Charlie Hall from England. They're 2, 3, 4 on the list. Lydia is 6th, but then Yamashita, Hyejin Choi, Hyojo Kim, Lim Kim, Somi Lee, Nasa Oka, Seyoung Kim. Those they make up 7 through 12 on that list. And then Ryo Takeda 14, Ronnie Yin 15. Yeah, it's depth. It's a ton of depth.
Yeah. So just a few people to call out here, if you'll allow me really quick. I wanted to shout out Austin Kim. She's an American. This was her second year on tour. She finished tied for 8th this weekend. Just kind of puts a bow on a successful season. I think she's somebody that is just taking steps, and I expect to win as soon as next year, perhaps. And then another American, she was a rookie this year, Jenny Bay, got into the Tour Championship and finished tied for 10th. I think that's a great result for her, a very good rookie season. And then a couple of big names. There were a lot at tied for 19th. You had Lexi, who had a great year for her first year of retirement. She, Soly, what's she earn? About $700,000 this year, I think it was.
She got her money right.
Yeah. Lottie Wode was in that group. She I'm sure she must be exhausted. Ake Iwai, Maya Stark, Charlie Hall, Ronnie Yin. That was all the T19 group. Lydia Ko was tied for 41st. Bit of a disappointment there. And then, of course, our friend LC, she was tied for 47th. I'm sure she would tell us she wished she would have played better. But those were some big names going down the leaderboard there.
On to some other news. Golf.com released their top 100 courses in the world list. TC, you've played about 150 of these courses on the top 100. What stuck out to you about the newest rankings?
So actually our friend Simon Holt, who we've gotten to know just via golf trips, and
he's been on the podcast before, if you remember. After he finished the top 100, he played the top 100 in the world before he had this role you're about to tell us about. But he detailed that experience as well in the pod several years ago, and he was a great guest.
Yeah, I think Simon's kind of taken over this process, or helped take over this process over at 8 a.m. and golf.com. And I think Simon takes it very, very seriously in a good way. He's credible, like he takes pride in, hey, I'm putting my name against this, and it needs to be an objective process here. Now, like you can argue rankings and subjectivity all day long, right? Because there's no perfect way to do it. Some of it is, like are the Raiders getting to play enough of these courses, or are they getting to play enough of these courses often? What do different people value different stuff, right? But I don't know. It feels like there's a lot less of, that's, that course bought their way on. I'm not seeing as much of that, or really any of that, in this list versus previous years. It seems like it's moving in a good direction on that front, and it's more substantive. Top 10, not a lot of changes, every year. It's like Pine Valley, Cypress, St. Andrews at number 3, which I love seeing. Royal County down.
I just love the column in there. Year built, Pine Valley, 1918. Cypress Point, 1928. St. Andrews Old Course, 1400.
Shinnecock Hills 5, National Golf Links 6, Royal Melbourne 7, Augusta 8, Oakmont 9, and Sand Hills 10. So Sand Hills definitely the youngest one there in the top 10 at 1995. But other, as far as those movers, nothing in the top 20 moved more than 2 spots up or down. Royal Portrush moved up 2 spots. Dornick moved down 2 spots. It's just kind of window dressing stuff. There's no huge surprises like Pinehurst number 2, number 20, Terry Eady.
I saw some people
19.
dumping on that, like that Pinehurst 2 didn't deserve to be ranked as one of the top 20 golf courses in the world. Like, what? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think the ones that kind of stuck out to me a little bit were, I think Cabot Cliffs. I mean, Cabot Cliffs tumbled like crazy. I think it went down, it went down 26 spots. I think it's still too high. I think it's a really fun resort course to play. I don't think it's even in the same zip code as some of these other courses, much less. And I prefer Cabot Links to Cabot Cliffs as well up there. I just think that's a better golf course and a better grower and all of that. But biggest fallers were Cabot Cliffs minus 26, Rye down 18, Ohoopee down 18, the aforementioned Cabot Links down 17, and Woodall Spa down 16. Biggest risers were New South Wales up 18 on the back of their big Mackenzie and Ebert renovation restoration. Lolito up 20 spots, Shankin Bay up 31 spots, which I think me of 4 years ago would have been like, oh, Shankin Bay, that one. And the more I hear about that, it's like, no, it's like a Core Crenshaw, like in the jungle. Like it's pretty wild. And then Lofoten up 22 spots and Bandon Trails up 14. I don't think Lofoten's even in the conversation of top 100 golf courses in the world. I find that like patent, like I love Lofoten. It's an awesome experience. I'm so glad we went there. I hope to go back there one day.
It's about a lot more than golf up there,
right?
Rich. Like
yeah.
The classic.
This isn't the top 100 about a lot more than golf list.
I know.
This is the top 100 golf courses in the world list. And I think they've been very specific of, we're not rating the clubhouse. We're not rating the food and beverage experience. We're rating the golf course. And I think they've done some, like, from what I've heard, they've done some good stuff up there as well, as far as just making it more playable in spots and less just, all right, if you're off the fairway, it's lost ball. But even then, it's just, I just don't like that. I don't think that's in the vicinity of like the top 200 golf courses in the world.
It might not be top 500, but it also, like, is it one of the top 100 golf experiences I've ever had? Yeah. Like
it might be like a top 5 experience.
Yeah.
You play, yeah.
Like,
if you don't know, it's 96 miles above the Arctic Circle. Like you can, in the summer, you can play literally around the clock. I finished a round there in the summer of 2017 at 3 a.m. Like, it's outrageous. It's unbelievable. You literally watch the sun like go towards the horizon and then just like start rising again. And it's as bright as it ever was at any point today at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's super trippy. And it's one of a kind in that regard. But yeah, is it like it's rated 2 spots above Royal Lytham and St. Anne's? Like, oh boy, I don't know
right?
about that, but yeah.
Here's
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Sorry, I was just to put a cherry on top of the Lofoten. That was the end of our Tour South Scandinavia. I was not in the championship match, so I did not play Lofoten on camera. There were opportunities to play it off camera, and I chose not to, just because like you get off the fairway, you were absolutely dead. And I just struggled to think of, honestly, any of these other courses. If I was going around watching people play golf and then I had an opportunity to play that golf course, I think I would jump at like every single other one of these golf courses. And I was like, nah, I'm good on Lofoten. I don't need to play it. I'm going to go for a hike.
Yeah. No offense, for Froda, who's,
and it's awesome.
You should go.
It should exist.
That's what I need to.
Exists.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
It is out of place on this list, I think, is the overall point. But any general like themes in the risers or fallers, TC? I know it's like every time this comes around, people will shit on it and be like, oh, what did Royal Melbourne East do this year to deserve to rise up 10 spots? But like the math behind it is like, it's different group of people that rate it every year. The criteria may change a little bit. The conditions, of the course in a particular year may change. There may have been a renovation of some kind. There may be, kind of style preferences that end up winning the day at the end of a year. Trends evolve and things like that. I don't have a problem as much with risers and fallers on lists, because you can walk off a course in 2017 and be blown away, and then be 8 years later be like, yeah, you know what, man, like that was a little more meh than I thought. But any particular trends that stuck out?
I think that, like, Yeah, like Oakland Hills, for instance, fell 9 spots. Nothing changed with Oakland Hills other than like we're another year beyond their renovation or their restoration
Yeah.
with Gill, right? Of luster wears off, or a renovation happens, a flood of Raiders go see that course, and then they don't go back for 3 or 4 years, and it just kind of gets removed from your psyche a little bit more.
Or it gets passed
There,
by a bunch of other clubs that did restorations and
yeah,
renovations as
yeah,
well.
and I do think that like new golf courses there should be a probationary period for 3,
Yes.
4, 5 years, but that's that's not how you're going to sell magazines, or that's not how I haven't. I don't know. I think the like St. Patrick's Links, like I need to get there. That place
Yeah.
is up another 5 spots to 44, right behind Southern Hills, right ahead of Cal Club, New South Wales Shore Acres. Somerset Hills down 8 spots, Swimley down 4 spots. Like, Troon up 13 spots, Royal Troon. Port Marnock up 5 spots, now ahead of Sunningdale. Bethpage Black up 4 spots. St. George's Hill up 14 spots to 57, and that's before they even embark on their Brian Schneider
I'm
led
glad seeing that place
renovation.
rise. It has been criminally underrated, I
I
think.
I think the biggest, and maybe this is just the composition of who the Raiders are and who they're getting on the panel is it does seem like classic, golden age design, classic stuff is being rewarded, and some of the stuff falling off is more of the, kind of, or falling down is more of the modern, the Kiowa or
Yeah.
the
Which, of note, some courses leaving the top 100 on this most recent list: Whistling Straits, Muirfield Village, Yeaman's Hall falling outside the top 100. That kind of doesn't follow the trend of that's a Seth Rayner golf course. I'm surprised to see that. But Royal Cinque Ports and Laborde. I got all this. I copied this from Rick, Top 100 Rick on Twitter, he dominates the For You page, man. He's always up on front there. The new entrants to the list were Childress Hall, which was
thinking at TC. I'm glad you said
controversial. Utrecht de Pan, Cap Rock, Tearai North Course, and Cape Wickham it's been on this list before, right? And I guess fell off.
Yeah,
and
that was like kind of
on.
been like floating right around the top 100. Like Tearai North, really fun, cool golf course. I don't think I just don't find that, like, I don't think that's a top 100. To me, I think that's like a great B-side members course that has a lot of depth and a lot of cool stuff there. I think Barnboogles tends to be overrated.
I think we need the Nest Gift one year to be a TC top 100 list. I think you need to make your own top 100, but it has to be behind the paywall. I think people would subscribe for that, man. I think I would pay for that.
Hell
Like
yeah.
seeing Winged Foot keeps
Bisbee
getting
number
dinged
5
here. Yeah, Bisbee. Yeah, I mean, Bisbee's nowhere to be seen here. Kings Barnes down 8 spots. Victoria up 3 spots, which I love seeing. Macrahanish up 3 spots. Rock Creek kind of some Doak stuff kind of falling down the list a little bit. Valley Neal took a big hit. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And then I think that I do like that there's plenty of representation, internationally, right? It's very well balanced worldwide. There's some stuff from Japan, plenty from Australia, like Peninsula Kingswood, right? Like that's not on there, right? And I don't think that was even in the next, like I think they published a next 50 or something like that I don't have in front of me. But
did you count up how many you've played?
I've played.
Don't do it live
I
on the
think
show.
I've
That's
played
not what I'm asking for.
66.
Wow.
I've never been like a list chaser, really. Like Simon had a really good thing of like, you should plan trips around 1 or 2 of these courses and then play everything else in that region that will make you appreciate that course more and understand the thematic stuff going on there, or that architect or whatever. So I played 21 of the top 25 and 65 or 66 of the top 100, pending a renovation or something like that. So I feel like I have a good, like I've got a good baseline to like, all right, I've got enough of a repository to have an opinion on a lot of these. I've got some big blinds. Like I've never done Royal County Down. I think I've played more outside of the top 100, or sorry, outside of the United States than I've played inside of the United States on this list,
More
which
accessible.
I take pride in as well, of getting out there and exploring and like, like getting out of our own backyard. So
I didn't go through the whole list. Never in a million years did I think I would look at a list like this and say I've played the top 4 courses. Like that's really heavy
That's
for
sick.
me. I know, and I will never quite get used to that. I think I've played 10 out of the top 20, and then I kind of stopped counting. I honestly think my biggest percent is probably in that top 20. I think if you like broke it down into 5 groups of 20, I probably wouldn't have 10 in any of the other buckets.
That's sick. I didn't think I played the top 9, Sandhills and Muirfield, 10, 11. I have not played. I think I got 62 when I counted, but I don't have any aspirations of I want to play all these courses, but I don't want to travel far and wide just to check them off list. I have, but I do want to play the top like 25. There's Sandhills, Muirfield, Fishers, and Friars Head of the top 25 ones I have not played, and all of those I definitely want to see in my life. So
I think lists are good overall. Like there's a place for lists. There's a place for. I just don't think that clubs should. Like I don't think that if a club's not on this top 100 list that was in the past, I don't think it's necessarily you're doing something wrong or you need to inject a bunch of resources into the golf course. It's it's fun for banter and it's a fun thing for conversations, but I don't think that a course should tie its fortunes or tie its value to that. Nor do I think people should plan trips and just try to hit as many top 100 courses as they possibly can.
I would say definitively, like, don't let it, if you have the choice between like a really highly recommended course and a top 100, don't let the fact that it's a top 100 win the day, right? Like, I don't know what example I would pull specifically from here, but like, like I don't know. Let's say West Lancashire is a course I freaking love in Northwest England. That's not going to be on this list. And, that I don't think you should necessarily demand that you play Royal Liverpool over West Lancashire. It's maybe a bad example because Royal Liverpool is excellent. But, some of these places, like, they're great golf experiences, but they're not that special. And I don't know if you need to like go out of your way to prioritize it just because it's on a top 100 list, if that makes sense.
Ely's not sniffing this top 100 list, and Kingsbarns is,
that's a great
90th
example.
or whatever. And like, I would play Ely like 9 times out of 10,
That's
maybe
10
example. Times out of 10.
That's a good example. I know. I was thinking like in my backyard here, Colorado Golf Club, which I have gotten to play a few times. I think it's awesome, right? It's not a top 100 on this list, but
it's a top 100 US, but it's not top 100 worldwide.
Yeah. I mean, I just go through this list, and some of the ones I have played, I can straight up tell you, like, I didn't have a good time. And so to your point, like, I would much rather play some other courses for some of these. Yeah. But
I think another one, Soly, is just like I think Royal Melbourne East is just underrated.
Yeah.
Just generally
it's
speaking.
Abandoned 85. Like, there's no way it's 85th best golf course in the world. Like, that's a top 50 golf course in the world. I'm sorry. I will die on that hill. Pack Dune's still 30. All right. Well, that's a future episode.
But like props to Simon and the gang over there for like Prestwick Rising, North Berwick Rising. Like, those aren't championship golf courses anymore. Right. They're like great. They're just great experiences. They're great golf courses that don't have to be 7,700 yards and beating you up. It's a little bit why I was a little bit like shocked to see Troon rising up so much, because Troon is a great major championship golf course. I don't think Troon is necessarily the most colorful or charismatic golf course.
Yeah, I think that's fair. TC, I can't believe we've been able to hold you back on this part as long as we have, but a lot happening on the Live Golf Tour, especially this top item here. I'll let you be the one to announce it because I know this kind of rocked your whole week.
Yeah. Listen, there was a lot of hot stove rumors out there, shams and all the gang on X, the everything app, they were just floating all sorts of rumblings that they were hearing out there. There were rumors that it was going to be Romain Langasque. I had heard that it was going to be a Frenchman going to the Cliques, taking Frederick Kjetterup's spot. Instead, it's Victor Perez.
Wow.
Which I listen, as a Cliques fan, massive dub for us. Like, Victor Perez is a good player, and he's kind of always bouncing around kind of that bottom of the world top 100. He played really well at the match play a few years back. I think he plays really slow as well, unfortunately. But yeah, just generally speaking, it's a massive upgrade over what we had last year. We have to maximize Blandy's window. Is kind of this championship window we have for the next.
You're pushing the chips all in.
2, maybe 3 years left of Blandy playing this level of golf. And if we can get something out of Keimer this year, like Blandy, Moronk, and Perez is a great core to have. So we had that. We had Laurie Cantor for going his PGA Tour card, heading back to live. It seems they don't want him unless he has access to his PGA Tour card. Scott Vincent, one of the Vincent brothers, back. He qualified for Live Golf via the International Series, as well as Yosuke Asahi. That I think they're big on their pathways. I've been hearing some rumors that they're going to do a play-in series here in the U.S. that 30, 40 guys, get a bunch of college guys and put up like a $4 million purse. And I guess just make it to where, hey, there's a competitive way in here. And because they've gone to the 72 holes, right? They've gone to just trying to check things off the list here for OWGR criteria. And I think pathways would be the big one.
Pathways is a big one. Still average field size of 75 players or more. They still fall quite short of that one.
And just like the conflicting priorities of like the Sebastian Munoz thing from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like I missed that putt or I knew I had to 2-putt for the team. So
they kind of do this as if the people like golf fans are voting on this, that they just have to win an basically, can they win the popular vote of people like convince them that they've qualified for the OWGR? Like they just lie and say that they've accomplished all these things and check all these boxes when it's just pretty straight up criteria that the board, the OWGR board has to decide whether or not they approve. And it's just run in such a political manner that I don't think has any influence over the board's decision. But I could be wrong there. But it just cracks me up how they approach it from a PR standpoint.
Which I didn't give you guys a chance to chime in on the Victor Perez news. What's your takeaway?
TC, I was just worried it was going to be my guy Martin Couvra, the Frenchman, who I really like. So I'm glad to see he was not the name. Beyond that, I'm sure it'll be great for all the parties involved.
Yeah, egg on my face. I mean, I was doubting his world ranking, 4 or 5 years ago when he was rising up the DP World Tour, when they were handing out free crack giveaway points, and here he is, takes the next big step and earns a spot on the cleeks. And I'll just have to own the L on that one, TC. You win that one, and I lose.
He's won some BDEs internationally. He's won the Dunhill Links. He won the Dutch Open. Soly, I know that's one that's
big one for me.
Near and dear to your heart, 2022. And then he won the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship. I don't have to tell you guys who's won that twice. He's only 33. Too.
He's a solid player. Yeah.
He's 6'6", Randy. He's a slender man too.
I'm going to give you guys, I had AI pull this because I didn't research it myself, and I hope this list is complete. But this is the complete list, I believe, of players that Live Golf has added in some form or fashion since the Rahm Hatton thing at the end of 2023 into 2024. Here's the list and their current data golf ranking, okay? Adrian Moronk, he's currently 322 in the world. Lucas Herbert is 210th. Caleb Surratt, 275. Andy Ogletree, 471. Kieran Vincent, 420. Kaye Samuja was unranked. He's over 500. Junichiro Kozuma, 461. Tom McKibben, 57. That is by far as the only player.
This was their ranking when?
No, this is current.
When they
ranking.
Joined or current?
Current ranking.
Well, you're using the Cricket OWGR.
No, I'm not. I said data golf. This is the data golf. This is all of their golf. Don't turn into a bot, TC. Your location's going to get outed on
regrets
X these
the air.
days.
TC regrets the air.
All right, I was just going down Victor Perez's thing. He's finished. He hasn't finished outside of 107th in the world since 2018.
He is 93rd. So Perez is the only other player in the top 200 currently in data golf that Live Golf has added over the last 2 years. The other names, Yubin Jang, unranked. Luis Masabo, unranked. Frederick Ketterup, unranked. Ben Campbell, the Kiwi, as we learned, 365. And Jose Luis Ballester, he was 302. He won this week. He will undoubtedly rise in the rankings there. But like that's the complete list of guys over 2 years that Live Golf has added. When it felt like things might be tipping when Rahm left, it has undoubtedly not happened. Just found that list quite interesting, if that's the complete one.
Sorry, I'm just looking at pictures of Victor Perez. I cannot believe he's 6'6", TC. Like that, I would have lost a lot of money betting on how tall Victor Perez is.
Like what's
sorry,
Soly?
Yeah,
just like his portrait.
Well, I don't know if you listen. If you tell me a Frenchman named Victor Perez and tell me to guess how tall he is, there's no way I'm going 6'6". Like in no universe do I think that person is 6'6". It's a fun little surprise. We need more slender down,
literally and figuratively.
No, I think I'm just so overjoyed. Somebody else in the ranks, more Slenderman.
I mean, honestly, the cliques, they're fucking long, man. Between him and Morong,
maybe that's what they're going for.
No, Blandy finished 4th this week, solo 4th behind Dean Burmester, Caleb Surratt.
You can dream on. Think about the catch radius of these guys.
Exactly. Soly, I mean, I'm just gonna keep going down the list. Abe Answer is on the move. We got a trade.
I don't know if it's official yet. It came, it's Nuclear Golf broke the news, I think. But
no, well, Nuclear Golf said at 10 Golf broke the news. 10 Golf is a Spanish, looks like some sort of Spanish golf, Spanish language golf X account. But Abe is allegedly going to, he's leaving the Fireballs. He's going to Torquay, and Luis Massivo, who is a Spaniard, is lined up to slot in on Sergio's. Was Massivo on Torquay this year?
Listen, TC, that you ask a lot of really good questions.
You don't know that? You think that us two are going to know that?
He was
a reserve.
Reserves.
Yeah.
So who else was on the Fireballs this year?
I guess he's welcome. He subbed in on.
So who's leaving Torquay then?
The relegated Mito Pereira.
Mito got relegated. Yeah. Okay. So it's not a trade. It's a trade, but there's nothing going back the other way. Or maybe there's some cash consideration.
There's draft pick compensation, I think. I mean,
future, compensatory pick or something.
I mean, the Fireballs do have a good farm system. I imagine they got, a couple prospects back for that.
The Fireballs should be like between Sergio.
He flips over and takes it very serious.
Massivo, those are legitimately the 3 best young Spaniards, playing.
Well, can Sergio get him playing good ball? I think we're going to find out a lot about his captaincy skills.
Yeah.
I think they're discriminating against Latin America guys.
A little rivalry going between the Spanish and the Latin Americans.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Anthony Kim finished T5 at the Saudi International. Just came roaring up the leaderboard. It was kind of unexpected. What did he end up he
shot a first round 64, I think.
He shot 67, 64, 69, 70. So he finished 8 shots back, but he was in a big tie for 5th. But yeah, they were playing this at Riyadh Golf Club again, which they seem to be playing everything at Riyadh Golf Club now and nothing at Royal Greens.
I know.
Over there too. But
where did Royal Greens rank on the top 100? I didn't see if it if it rose or fell on the top 100 list. But
and then lastly, we got Henrik Stenson headed back to the DP World Tour.
He has paid his fines allegedly and has been relegated officially from Live Golf and is headed back to play on the DP World Tour. So that's.
Does he still have a financial interest in the Majestics?
Yeah. How do you? That's
how do you unwind that?
TC? Right.
I mean, when the denominator is 0, TC, I don't know if it really matters, but
It's a new
follow
era
up on
for the
that.
Majestic. Like what are the Majestics? Is Cancer signing with the Majestics? Is he slotting in because he's an Englishman? Is he slotting in?
You would think. And will they make him a captain to stick with the 3 captain lineup?
The brain drain leaving the Majestics. I'm worried about them going into 2026. But in other news, Pablo Torre did another mini dive this past week into Phil Mickelson. Had Alan Shipnuck on. We listened to that one on our drive. If you're a heavy golf fan, there's not a ton in there that's a lot of brand new, but it does just dive into like, dude, what's going on with this guy? And even though we know most of the stories with Phil, it's good to hear Alan just recap a lot of it and how everything played out from the Phil interview then before the book and kind of this heel turn that Phil has made in his 50s. But that was some noteworthy media this past week. I'd recommend people check out.
Yeah, Randy, I'm convinced he's gonna run for governor of California at some point in the next like 8 years.
I know. I know you guys and Soly, we did one time like the Sable offshore stuff. If you have not listened to that, Pablo Torre finds out just like another push to listen to that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
TC and I are about to gobble up some Sable. We talk about a lot of things in the car. We spent about 10 hours in the car together this past week. We might get involved with Sable offshore just to ride this out. I mean, TC's got a hat.
Want some skin in the game.
Yeah. I mean, if that 14-inch thing is true, man, I might.
Big Daddy starts swinging it. Yeah,
I kind of want to see it.
I think Big Daddy did kind of start swinging it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So,
do you want to talk about the little travel we made this week, TC?
Yeah. You want to talk TGL or you want to talk the park?
Well, let's do both. We went down to West Palm. We spent a very, very fruitful visit, all done really in one day. We went and checked out the SoFi Center. You had been there once before, but we went down and played a little golf in the simulator. And on the surface, we filmed the whole thing. There will be a video out, hopefully within the next month or so, recapping our day there. Cam Young joined us for a little while. Pretty much our New York Golf Club recruiting visit. You know, my fandom is a little bit up in the winds these days, but Cam joined us. It was really fun. It was really, really fun. And I know not everyone gets to go and play in the SoFi Center, and that doesn't, you don't get to translate that straight into watching the TGL, but I did walk away more bullish on TGL, honestly. It sounds like they have some really fun changes coming up. We sampled some new things they have coming. We can't spoil any of that in the time being. It'll all be in the video and everything, but the green's bigger. Like there's just a lot of changes to the gameplay and to the system, to the technology involved. And it's a massive, massive investment and swing. And the energy there was pretty undeniable. The changes they made in the season as it went along, I thought made for the competition to be better. And I'm buying season 2, man. I'm really feeling the momentum going into season 2. I'm surprised I'm saying this, but I left that being like we should go down for a match. Like we should just make the drive down for a match and see it in person. And just a great team there working on it, and we had a really great time. I don't know if you have anything to add on top of that.
No, I think it's real grass. You can.
A lot of people don't talk about that.
Real grass, some of the best grass I've ever played off of. I think I was blown away at how accurate the simulator felt of having that 40 yards there between when you hit the ball from that far tee box and when it hits the screen, and then how it, you see the ball starting to curve or you see it rising against the screen, and then it continued along that path. I was, that's what I was a little bit skeptical of last year, especially with some of the wedge shots. And it felt representative of the shots that we were hitting. The improvements, like putting in there so hard. I have so much respect for those guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, you got the shadows and the lights, and it's just, there's a lot.
Sound like me on real golf.
There's all these jacks underneath the green, Randy, and
I was going to ask if they added any more. Would they have 36 or something last year?
No, like 300 and something. Like it's
okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. The green spins. You got all the graphics going around. Like it's a sensory experience in there. They've got some new designs. We won't spoil any of those. There's some great stuff coming down the pipeline there. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, Soly, like I had been there. I kind of knew what to expect. What was the most surprising element of it for you? Of just like the entire arena, or the size of it, or what?
It wasn't that, yeah, the size, I mean, just like the very serious structure of the arena one, of just like, man, it's not a massive building in terms of like the amount of people that it seats, but like how fast this went up and how big the beams are and how big the screen is, how big the technology is, and how obviously everyone knows it got delayed a year when the previous site collapsed, but it's really impressive. And I don't know if this is that surprising, but it's just like it's so easy to get caught up in the competition in terms of like wanting. I loved video game. I don't play video games anymore, but I used to love them, and I love golf. And it's like combining those two things in a competitive way. Like you and I played a match, and I did not want to lose that match. We had hammers involved, and so like, yeah. Do we joke about like the way the teams are formed and like the fake structure of it all? Sure. But I totally get how these guys can get in that environment, get super competitive, and have fun. Like that was what stuck out to me about season one, was like the guys are having fun, and that makes it easier to watch and makes it, it didn't feel like they were being forced to be there in any way. And it led to some really fun, entertaining, competitive moments against all odds. Because again, this is something that nobody was asking for ever. And so you're up against that hurdle on top of just like, yeah, it's an indoor golf league. But I said this, the two worst things about indoor golf are hitting off mats and hitting into a screen that's right in front of you. And this has neither of those. And it does make a difference. Yeah. And the putting is, yeah, you're not putting into a screen. You're putting into a real hole. And again, no one asking for it, but I think it's additive to the golf world. And I'm buying for season 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think also, I'd never really spent any time with Cam. Cam's the man.
Yeah, he's great.
What a good dude. Just steady and yeah, real. And then
Randy,
we
are you
two things.
Yeah.
One, you guys should get down there. Try to inject a little bit more life into the into the crowds. And in any good market, if you're buying, somebody has to be selling. So I will take the counter side of this buying.
I would be concerned if you were buying
remain
TGL.
very, very pessimistic, and it's just not my thing.
That I would expect nothing else, Randy. I would honestly, if you were buying, I'd be like, oh, it's a bubble. We got to get out.
Exactly.
We zoomed over and spent the afternoon over at the park. You may remember the park from, I don't even remember what event they played
Match
there under the lights, but
Rose and Max.
Yeah, that was the co-ed under the lights. Yeah,
it is a Gil Hance design in West Palm. It is a public access golf course. TC, you've been there before. Tell us about the project. Again, this is not a new project, and you had played it before, but we've not dedicated much time to talking about this on the show. We filmed this round as well. You'll be able to see every shot, every hole. When that'll be sometime in 2026. But man, you said big things before we went, and you had somehow undersold it, if I may say.
I love it. It's Gil and Jim. It's a good piece of land. It's so much more rolling and dramatic than you think, especially in the back nine, than you think South Florida golf could possibly be. It feels like Australian sandbelt golf at times. It's probably the closest I've found. I haven't played fall line yet in Georgia, or maybe a couple of things out in California, but like otherwise it's as on the ground as possible. We caught it on a pretty soft, slower, like greener stretch too, and like that. Like when I first played it, it was much firmer. We didn't get any wind either. Like it's a real golf course. You got to hit creative, real golf shots. Yeah, I don't know. It's an impressive operation. It just like, and I know it's expensive for locals, but I think it's truly world class. And it's not a
muni. It's not a cheap muni, right? It's not that expensive for what it is, I would say, but it's not it's a upper tier priced golf course for a world class experience. Like it is And I think the rate in November, and I know it goes up in December. December through April is their peak period, and that goes up in the 250 to 350 range. Our rate, I think, was or the rate in November, I believe, is around $180, $188. That in November is a freaking deal, man. And we stayed in a hotel nearby. I think we paid $139 a night for our hotel nearby, it's right by Palm Beach Airport. It's 10 minutes away. And that's where I'm like, this is jumping off the page for me, for anyone that lives in a cold weather state, to book a November golf trip, go stay at an airport hotel near PBI, and book 3 or 4 rounds, paying $188 a round. If you $500 flight,
they've got caddies. They got a great caddy program there.
Caddy program, 3 nights. But if you wanted to do it on the cheap, you could do an entire trip, car, food, golf, and stay for under $2,000 in incredible weather, like in the mid 70s, low 80s, in West Palm, to play a awesome golf course, like really, really freaking good golf course. You said it is like the Sandbelt. I mean, there are holes you get there. I'm like, oh, there's number 5 at Melbourne West. Like, that's one of the greatest golf holes in the world. Like, that's a replica.
There's 17 at Royal
replica hole. You were almost like quizzing me, like, oh, let's get to the end of this hole and tell me what hole you think this was. I'm like, oh, that's blah 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 at Royal Melbourne. Like, it is. I definitely thought you were exaggerating when you said it's like the Melbourne Sandbelt. It's the closest thing you've seen to the Melbourne Sandbelt. And like, I walked off the front 9, I'm like, dude, that was awesome. And you were like, dude, the back 9 is where it's at. Like, it is, Randy, you got to get there, man. It is
shit, Randy.
It's really, really, really good. And the finishing, like, it's great. And then the finishing stretch is even better than all that before. Like, I walked away just that drive home was 4 hours, and it was nothing to me because I was on such a high walking off that golf course. And I played awful. Like, I'm just spoil that part of the video. I played pathetic golf.
No, that's exciting. I mean, whiffs of like a little strap. You could do your own strap trip down there. Shit, we could do a strap
budget.
Trip down there.
With your budget, you could easily get a strap trip in down there.
Well, you go play the par 3, the Palm Beach par 3 as well. There's
now it's going from good to great for me.
There's a killer Cuban restaurant right around the corner from the park that we went to the first time I was down there. There's this place, Aioli, which is this awesome like bakery lunch restaurant. I love it. Like, I used to hate South Florida, but or I just didn't know Palm Beach at all. It's still like super weird, bizarre place. But I like it. It's interesting, and I like going there for 2 or 3 days at a time. And it's a weird change of pace. And Jupiter, Hobe Sound, even down to Delray and Fort Lauderdale. Not a lot of great golf down there either. People reach out all the time. Hey, I'm going to Palm Beach, or I'm going to Florida. Where should I play golf? Like, go to the park. Go like, no brainer. Go to the park. Yeah. And so we talked about Great Dunes, a couple weeks ago, or week or two ago. Like, Great Dunes popped up. That's back on the map up here, just north of us here in Georgia. Like, if you're coming to Jacksonville, make Great Dunes a part of your itinerary on that front. But man, like, even if you're going to like Orlando or something like that, I would drive the couple hours down to Palm Beach from Orlando to play the park. It's absolutely worth it.
I mean, it's worth making a special trip down there just to play. That's what I'm saying. Because different pins, the size of those greens, like, you could play different tees every day if you wanted to. Like, I would want to loop that place 3 to 4 times on a single trip. Like, you don't need to build multiple courses in, I would say. Because that's the whole thing, is like, that golf area is littered with private golf courses, and I'm not that experienced down there, nothing of private or of public access that even sniffs the level of what they've accomplished at the park. They got a lit 9-hole course there as well, Randy. I know that you would love that.
Randy, it's called the Lit 9, Randy.
Yeah. Well, let's get lit. Yeah. Get out there, get my shirt untucked. God dang.
Great range, chipping and putting greens. Like, there are a bunch of kids out there as well. Just like, that's a place that's got a lot of positives going on in the world of golf. So
shout out to legitimately and everybody down there that made it a reality.
Legitimately, that's very cool to hear. I look forward to the video.
Cool. That's going to wrap us. A lot to talk about on a November Sunday evening. Greatly appreciate you all spending your time with us, and you, Randy and TC, for spending your time with us as well in this evening. Time to get to the clapper. Hopefully, get you there in time for halftime, TC.
I think it's like 31-7 or something.
I've been getting a lot of alerts for fantasy points for Matthew Stafford.
Rams are just Eating.
In asses.
Eating. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week. Cheers.